yes.
I assume this is on audio and not on video as well, or?
No, we are not very talented, Sudeep, so there are some glitches. We are recording it live though.
Okay, fine.
No, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can.
We can hear you and see you too. He's unable to understand it, we can see you.
Okay, so I'm just saying that thank you very much for reading my book, because I'm holding a book club, adda over it, because it just means a lot to me that some years after the book's publication, it still has traction. And for a writer, that's means everything. So thank you very much again for sort of reiterating your faith in my little story about my people. And I'm not going to, in fact, I think it's a very bad idea usually for the writer of a book to show up at a full-class gathering, because it usually leads to disruption and which is unfair. But also, I've done my bit. I've written the book. It's up to you guys to say whatever you wish about it. So it actually shouldn't be there at that time when you're discussing the book. Maybe I can drop by some weeks later or some months later and have a sort of proper chat with you folks. Conference, and I just told in a few minutes, essentially because they were insisted. And let me tell you, for Atulya, she's very pushy.
I think we all agree.
Ask me.
She's not a bad thing. I mean, it got me out of the conference. Just while you're happy for a few minutes, I'm all yours and all yours. So shoot if there's any question I can answer for you, or listen to your comment for a little while. It's all good. It's all fine.
I think you want to. Anyone else wants to ask a question?
Should be a very quick question from me, which is that given the polarization that we are seeing in the past decade or so, if you were to write a book again, what would you change?
About the polarization, because polarization is in the book. In fact, it is suggested, it is intensely suggested, and I sort of foreshadowed what is happening now in the book. I would probably update the book with a few statistical data that I've had in my experiences in Bangladesh and other parts of India subsequent to writing the book. In detail it might vary a bit, but I don't think in logic it would vary at all, because the polarization is here and it's very disturbing. I think if I'm not wrong, in the chapter on politics in India, I mentioned an event incident that I saw in Chandranagar, not far from Kolkata, in 2017, and thereabouts. And I foreshadowed what happened in Bengal, at least in other parts of Eastern India, or what I call Far Eastern India, where Bengalis are, in particular Assam, issues with CAA and NRC, and the fallout of it in Bangladesh, where I listen frequently. And I can tell you that things in Bengal that we watch very, very closely. And so there is a polarization which I find extremely disturbing, because, not just because, I'm not going to say something stupid, like saying that polarization goes against the Bengali ethos, because it's quite the opposite actually. Bengalis are sort of past masters and proven masters in polarization. So I'm not surprised that it is taken root so seriously in Bengal politics, or taken root again so seriously in Bengal politics. So polarization is what we do very well, alongside singing and poetry and culture and cooking and showing off and people with the rest of the world. we are also exceedingly accomplished at polarization. So let me rest it.
Thank you so much. That was really, really interesting. And DK, you ask a question.
It's okay. Anybody
So,
else?
Sudeep, any thoughts for us? Any chapter that you might have left out by default? And, because I think it's a wonderful book which covers almost everything about the Bengali.
But I think, I might have added a little bit more on, I don't think, see, because, I didn't want the book to be literalistic. So one of the things that one of the criticisms that I faced about the book is that, oh my God, there are so many fine Bengalis everywhere, this stuff. And I say, yes, I have, and that's fine, because the idea wasn't to make the book a listing. It wasn't like, meet the great Bengalis. It wasn't that kind of book. The names are mentioned where there is a context to mention the names, and it had to fit into the narrative. And of course, there would be, since the book has been written, there are people who've made their names in the world of literature, arts, theatre, poetry, fiction, both in all over Bangladesh, what I call Bangladesh, whether it's in India or West Bengal or Assam or Tripura or Bangladesh, for instance. So possibly I could have added a few more names here, but I think in some, the content would largely remain the same. Because the points of don't change in 5 years, 6 years, 7 years since the book has been written. So it's written from the point of view of an explanatory venture in the same way Jeremy Paxman spoke about English, and actually my entire life was spoke in a way so it doesn't just really got people and writer who wrote a book about the Italian, and he absolutely inspired the Italians. And I was reading Chakravarti's book, and I said that why can't we be doing this stuff? Because they've always seen that they're central to the universe, they're exceedingly self-important. We are in many, many ways very Italian, if you will. In the raucous and self-important sense of the word. I mean, we basically own the world and its culture and everything. And if you don't like us, too bad for you, we are that kind of stuff. So I think, about 70 odd years after Bengalis would be sort of be sure and be sure-footed enough to read a book about themselves, written by a Bengali, in a way. And so I wouldn't change very much except a few names here and there. Basically, the basic premise and the structure of the book, I would stick to, even if I wrote it today. I will change some details that would amend some details. But primarily, the book was made in essence, rather, not primarily.
Our book club would love to meet you in person. And we would love to meet Chotkawa. Trust me, I mean, we're all good diehard bonds and Chotkawa and Chotkawa.
No, but what's the fun in, just talking about the Bengalis with Bengalis that we should have people I call not Bengalis.
Yeah, we can correct it. Exactly. And I'm a not Bengali married to a Bengali, so I've got lots of anecdotes. Outside.
My consideration.
Okay, now which team do you support? Mohan Bagan or East Bengal?
Easter.
Neither, it's so boring. You refuse to eat either, Salda Chingri or inside. I think football is just an excuse for food. So the traditional thing about East Bengal wins, English, right, gets sold out, and Mohan Bagan wins, Chingri gets sold out. We live on the little pretensions about the world at large, but all we're really talking about is food. Or the lack of it. I think, for example, that we are exceedingly, I wouldn't even say it here, gourmet is good. There's a word called petu.
Petit Bengali.
You know, like the French would call it gourmand, something like that. But petu is, I think, more.
It's more emotional.
So we should own up to what we do. We should do everything. Everything's about food in the language. I think if this Modi could guarantee that West Bengal would get 5 tons of some more season, they would win the next election.
On that positive note for the Petru, Sudeep, I think we've taken up too much of your time. We would love to keep hearing you.
I think it's frozen.
It's really close.
I think